Have you ever felt that you're working and still not seeing the success that you would like to see? Well, maybe you're getting some stuff done and you're reaching some goals, but there's constant chaos, there's always too much to do, and you don't seem to reach all of your goals. There's always something that doesn't go as planned. Did you know that all your behavior is run by your subconscious patterns? So if you're working and not seeing the results you would like to see, have you thought about that this might just be your subconscious patterns at work? If your subconscious patterns are holding you back, no matter how much effort you put in, you're not going to see the results. I had this client who is a business owner and he was seeing quite a bit of success, although not the success he wanted to. And it seemed like every time he landed a deal, something looked like it would go his way. Everything just fell apart and he ended up constantly being in stress, busy, too much to do, and things don't going as planned. So when I worked with this client, we went back to look at what were the patterns that were running him. Because I know from my experience that when you see a pattern happening over and over again, it's not a coincidence, because all your thoughts, all your feelings, and all your behavior are driven by your subconscious patterns. They are habits. You're not supposed to be aware of them. And whatever is stored in your subconscious creates your reality. It creates your results. So when I see people doing the same thing over and over again, being stuck in the same problems year after year after year, I know there's always an old subconscious program that's not working for them. And let's be honest, most subconscious programs don't really work in our favor. And why is that? Why do our subconscious patterns normally work against us? Well, you have to know a few things about your mind. Your mind has one main priority. It is to protect you. And when you're a child, especially when you're a child, your mind's job is to learn about the world, learn about you, so that you can take care of yourself when you're an adult, so that you can be safe when you're an adult. The thing is, a child's brain isn't fully developed. Let's be honest, a child doesn't really understand much about the world, right? So we have this great paradox. A mind that doesn't understand anything about the world is supposed to interpret the world and learn about the world. And this becomes a problem because whatever a child learns, especially ages 0 to 7, it sticks. It stays with us forever. Because we would normally think that, okay, whatever a child learns, it will vanish. The child will relearn whatever it is. And yes, in some cases, that is true. A child will learn certain things about how traffic works, or that Santa Claus isn't real, or that you have to be careful with the big waves in the water. So obviously, some of the more mundane, everyday things a child will learn and relearn and understand and get a better grasp of reality. These are the more conscious things. When we're talking about the more unconscious stuff, it stays with us. And speaking of the unconscious, what really stays with us until we die, unless we reprogram it, it is all the emotional stuff which is stored, which has a negative impact on us. Because let's be honest, if something nice happens to a child, their mind will go like, oh, okay, that's interesting. A butterfly, the sun is shining, ice cream, whatever. It's nice, but it's not important to survival. Whenever something dangerous happens, the child's mind will go, ooh, that's important. I need to store that so that I can steer away from that later in life. So especially events that are scary in some way for a child, threatening, they will be stored as emotional stress. We can call it big T trauma, we can call it small t trauma, it doesn't matter what you call it. I call it emotional clutter because it's stored and it isn't released until you actually go in and do the work. Because yes, you can release all of these old negative emotions that are stored, all of that old negative emotional clutter. This can be released when you know how to do the work and you actually do it. For most people, people, they had no idea that they can actually do it, that there are subconscious programs that are running everything and that they are not working in their favor. So by watching this video, you will be aware, and from now on, there's no way these subconscious programs will run you. And so how does it become a problem that a child with a mind that doesn't really understand much about the world interprets the world, and then this interpretation is saved for the rest of their life unless they reprogram it? Well, because the mind is so preoccupied by keeping us safe, it will look for dangers and it will find dangers. If there are no dangers, it will find it and it will store it. And what is dangerous for the mind? Well, the most dangerous thing for the mind is being left out, not having a place in our tribe, not being valuable, not being loved, not feeling like we belong. So our mind thinks that we will die if we are not accepted by our tribe, if we are in risk of losing our place in the tribe. And for children, the tribe is their parents. Children rely 100% on their parents for safety. We adults or teenagers, we depend more on the society around us. For children, especially ages 0 to 7, they depend on their parents. So a child will unconsciously scan their surroundings, which is their home environment, the relationship to the parents, to see if there's any chance that the parents won't be there, if there's any chance that the parents won't support them. Because the most dangerous thing is if parents are not there to support the kids. Parents who love the kids, show them that they're valuable, have time for them, validate their emotions, give them what they need. Those parents are safe parents. Parents who are drug addicts or alcoholics, who fight, who are sick, parents who get divorced, parents with a lot of issues, they are not safe for children. So if this is the environment a child grows up in, the brain of the child will learn that the child is in danger. So there are many ways a child's mind can misinterpret the surroundings and create ideas, create decisions about what the world is like, what that means about them. You see, your mind is constantly creating meaning. It's attaching meaning to everything. So an event isn't just a neutral event. Your mind will go, ooh, this event means that, and then fill in the blanks. And the meaning that is attached to events is normally, I would say, 100% of the time, unless we start doing this work and training our minds, it will be, this could be dangerous. I'll look at it from a perspective that it could be dangerous, just in case. So let's come up with an example. Let's say a parent is super busy. There's so much work, they're stressed out, and the child is coming, mommy, look at this, I'm drawing. And the child just really needs the parent to say, wow, what a beautiful drawing. I really appreciate you showing it to me. Looking them into the eyes and just seeing them, acknowledging that they see the child. So if a parent doesn't really have time, is super busy, maybe they're cooking dinner, maybe they're on the phone, maybe they have to run to go to work, whatever. This doesn't have to mean anything, but the child's mind will go, ooh, if mommy or daddy don't have time to look at my drawing, that means that what I create, what I think, what I feel, what I do isn't valuable. It's not good enough. And if what I do isn't good enough, that means I'm not good enough. So you see, the mind will always look for danger. Although the world isn't dangerous, it will interpret the world in that direction because it's better to be safe than sorry. And whenever the mind goes, ooh, that means that I'm not good enough, or that means that my emotions are valuable, or that means that I can't have what I want, this sticks with us. This becomes a limiting belief. It becomes a pattern stored in our our unconscious mind. And you know what? When our mind is doing its best to keep us safe, it is constantly moving us away from everything that's dangerous towards everything that's safe. Our mind doesn't always know what is dangerous and what is safe. So it will take everything which is in the new and unfamiliar category and just think of it as dangerous, because there could be something dangerous there, right? We don't know. Everything that's familiar, it ends up in the safe category. So guess what? Your all subconscious patterns, they are all so safe to your mind. It will do everything it can to move you towards them and replicate those patterns and drive you towards doing the same thing that is stored in your unconscious mind again and again and again. Your mind is so happy when you can do the same thing that's stored in your subconscious mind. Your mind is also a pattern recognition machine. What your mind does best is look at all the information in the world and then match it with the patterns which are stored deep in your mind. And your mind will go to the extremes of just pushing and pushing until it finds a match. And whenever it finds a match, that pattern will be reinforced. Because what we do a lot of, what we think often, what we do often, what we say often, what we feel often, this will create neural pathways that are strengthened each time. So one of the ways we change how we think, how we feel, and we change the all subconscious patterns is by repeating the new stuff, repeating what we want. So we can override all subconscious patterns by just repeating the new ones over and over and over again. When I work with my clients, we remove the old patterns like that because it's so much more efficient. No matter what techniques you use to remove the old subconscious patterns, it's super important that you practice the new ones. So when I work with my client who's a business owner who has had some kind of success, but there's always something going wrong. It's like he was driving with one foot on the gas pedal and the other one on the brakes continuously. It's like you're moving forwards and you're moving backwards at the same time. Have you ever experienced that? You feel like you're putting in so much effort and you're just not seeing the results you want. So I always know there is something underneath the hood when this happens. And with this client, I took him in for a session and we went back in time because I knew there would be something there. And I said, I'm pretty sure there's a pattern there that's holding you back. And I knew quite a bit about this man's background. I knew he grew up with a mom who was mentally ill. I knew he grew up with an alcoholic father who left when he was 5. I knew there had been issues. Still, when you would meet this guy, you would think that he was so strong and confident, had everything going for him. But you know what? Under the hood, there's always something going on. And I said, I am pretty sure that you have a belief that's holding you back, which is creating a glass ceiling, which is setting the boundaries of what you can achieve in your business, which is holding you back, which is making you self-sabotage all the way and you're not aware of it. You probably think there are external factors that are always at cause for why things aren't working out. And I'm pretty sure there is some internal stuff. I'm pretty sure there's some self-sabotage. I'm pretty sure there's some old patterns running you. I'm pretty sure at some point in your life, your mind decided that whatever you wanted wasn't available to you. I see this in almost all my clients. You don't have to have a traumatic upbringing to end up with a belief like that. Because it could have just been that you were at the mall with your mom and you saw some toys and you really wanted them and your mom said, we can't afford that. That's not for us. Other people can buy that. We can't buy that. Meaning, what I want isn't available for me. I can never get it. I can never get the things I want. So you could still grow up in a loving and caring home and you can pick up stuff like that because having what you want is dangerous for your mind, right? So it will store it, it will remember it, and it's better that you sabotage instead of actually believing that you can get it. Because if you were to believe that you can get it, you would get disappointed, right? Because your mind knows it's not available. Are you getting this? Are you starting to see the picture? Does it sound logical? Are you getting a grasp on this? Perfect, because this is important and I really want you to understand this so that you don't have to be run by these patterns. Because by becoming aware and changing your thoughts, you can start to move away from this limitation. So I knew that he had grown up in a home where he didn't get his needs met. He didn't get what he wanted. So the thing is that when I explained this to him, he said, no, that doesn't feel right. I do actually believe that everything is available to me, that I can get whatever I want to. And I had been observing him for a while. He was struggling in his business. And I know that when you've had an upbringing for that, there's no way that your mind learns that everything is available when every day you're faced with the fact that the things you want are not available to you. So I said, okay, why don't we just go in and check and see if there's anything there? And he was keen. He said, yeah, I don't think so. And I still want to do it because I really want more success in business. So we did a session. It's really quick. I took him back to see when his mind decided that the things he wanted in life weren't available to him. And sure enough, he quickly went back to the time when he was a baby. When he was a baby, he learned that what he wanted wasn't available to him. And that's how it works. And once you've learned it, you won't unlearn it unless you become conscious and unless you decide differently. So after we changed this old subconscious program, his business blossomed. Now, 6 months later, he's doubled his revenue. So when you get the information on how your mind works and that it misinterprets the world and that this stays stuck as limiting beliefs in your subconscious mind and that you can change them, when you understand this, the world opens up and whatever you want in life is so much closer to you. Of course, it takes a bit of effort, a bit of practice, and everything is possible. If you want to connect more dots and understand more about how your unconscious mind works, I'm pretty sure that you'll like this one.